Like a lot of people, I was completely won over by Super Monkey Ball when I played it on the GameCube back in 2001. It had one of those simple concepts that pretty much anybody could get into, which made it the one thing that all of my non-gaming friends and family members actually looked forward to playing. But as the series went on, I lost touch. In fact, I'm so far out of the loop that I was genuinely shocked to see that Sega had released nearly 20 installments on everything from the Xbox to the N-Gage to the PS Vita. That's why I was excited to jump into Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD, an upgraded version of a Wii game that was first released in 2006. I figured that it would be a great way to catch up on at least one of the sequels that I missed. But what I got instead was a gigantic reminder of why I lost interest in the franchise to begin with. Looking back on it now, it's easy to see why I skipped Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz in 2006. Not only was it a launch game for the Wii that received largely mixed reviews, but it was also one of those games that forced players to use the remote's unwieldy motion controls. Look, I've never been a big fan of motion controls, so the idea of playing a better-looking version using a standard analog stick definitely piqued my interest. Now, for better or worse, this is a mostly faithful port of the 13-year-old Wii game. There's a vague story here about a pirate villain named Captain Krabuchin who's stolen the Golden Banana Bunch. But it's mostly just there to get us rolling around 100 single-player stages and taking on a new batch of dangerous bosses. And just like every other Monkey Ball game, you'll have a chance to try your luck against your friends and enemies in a bunch of other multiplayer minigames. It's basically everything you expect from this series, only now in high definition. But don't worry if you've never played a Super Monkey Ball game before, because the concept is surprisingly simple. This is a game about rolling a large monkey-filled ball around a series of increasingly complicated platforming stages in an effort to find the exit portal. It's a lot like one of those marble mazes where you have to move the whole board around in order to get anywhere. The concept starts out simple enough, but it won't take long before you're dodging enemies and forced to jump over bottomless pits. A lot of the game comes down to carefully navigating through narrow passages and finding the safest path to the exit door. You'll pick up floating bananas along the way, which is how you'll earn extra lives. And you're gonna need those extra lives because the back half of this game is punishing. The once bite-sized stages begin to grow longer and more complicated, forcing you to perfectly time your jumps and successfully avoid a bunch of new obstacles. Each of the worlds ends with a massive boss fight, which is a highlight of the single-player experience. While a few of them are more frustrating than fun, I liked how each of them requires something different from you. This isn't one of those games where every boss is exactly the same, and you'll end up needing to use actual strategy to beat the baddies towards the end. I mean, sometimes it's just all about hitting a weak spot, while other times the boss will be an entire airship that you have to roll across. Both with the bosses and the level designs, there's a nice variety of levels in the single-player mode. Now, the same can be said about the multiplayer minigames, where Super Monkey Ball shifts focus away from platforming and tries its hands at 10 different genres. I mean, do you want to go snowboarding? Well, you can do that in Banana Blitz HD. You can also aim at targets, race around on the ice, collect bananas in a 2D version of the game, and even go up against a bunch of spaceships in a weird shoot-'em-up. You can go through each of these games solo, but they're at their best when played with up to 4 people in the same room. It's actually while playing through the mini-games that I was reminded that this was originally designed for the Wii's motion controllers to be front and center. The result is a number of mini-games that don't make a whole lot of sense when using the standard pad and analog stick. A good example of this is when you're playing a monkey ball variation of Whack-A-Mole. I get the feeling that this would be a whole lot easier to manage if I were simply pointing and moving the remote through the air, because the way it's implemented here makes it almost unplayable. The good news is that the analog controls work a lot better when playing through the 100 single-player stages. It basically controls like what I remembered from the original GameCube version. which brought me right back to where I was in 2001. Considering that most of the reviews complained about the forced motion controls, this seems like a big improvement over the original. I mean, if you're somebody who loved the content in the Wii version but hated the finicky gameplay, then I can see how this HD port could be a welcome upgrade. But for me, I quickly lost interest in Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD. It's not that it's a bad game, but rather that it's short and not very deep. While 100 stages may sound like a bunch, most of them can be completed in about a minute. I managed to speed through the single-player campaign in a single sitting, and none of the all-too-brief mini-games were able to hold my attention for very long. I felt like I had seen everything after only a couple of hours, which is made even worse by the $40 asking price. I might have been more forgiving if this was a $10 or $15 download, but the price is too high for what you get here. The good news is that this high-definition Banana Blitz looks great on modern systems. The simple and clean graphics have aged well, and I like how each of the worlds looks completely different. There are also some welcome new additions, such as a minigame decathlon and online leaderboards. This is a port that makes me wonder what Sega could do if they created a new Monkey Ball game using today's technology instead of simply re-releasing an older version. They could take the series into virtual reality, or maybe just add a little bit more depth to the levels and gameplay. No matter what, the longtime fans of the series deserve something meatier than Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD. "13 years after launching with the Wii, Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz is back and looking better than ever, which not only makes the 100 single-player stages easier to navigate, but also a whole lot less frustrating. But even with all those levels, fans of the series will have no problem rolling through all of the content in a single sitting, which makes the steep $40 asking price even harder to defend. Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD reminded me of why I liked this series in the first place, while simultaneously reinforcing the reasons why I ultimately lost interest in the franchise. Hey, thanks for watching our review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. There's a whole playlist with almost 600 reviews. Now here's the question I have for you. What do you want to see out of a Super Monkey Ball sequel? These HD upgrades are nice and all, but let me know what Sega should do with the next generation sequel. In other news, I'm currently hard at work on an insane amount of reviews, including everything from The Beast Inside to Remothered to Spirit Roots to Roof Rage. I seriously have no idea where I'm going to fit all of them. If you want to find out what happens, then I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.